We typically don't think of women as having narcissistic personality disorder, so it can be very, very confusing. When it comes to narcissistic personality disorder, we're talking about a human being whose maladaptive coping mechanism for negating reality and for keeping reality out is to be the writer, director, and editor of a fantasy version of her life. In that film, she is the star and biggest victim in the room. First thing to remember is you are an instrument that exists only in her world. That is why if you deviate from her map of reality, you'll see an awful lot of stress, criticism, emotional dysregulation. You're only allowed inside if you're prepared to play the role that they want you to play, which is why codependent people, when they're dealing with the female narcissist, they will frustratingly find themselves playing a role that isn't really them. And then afterwards they'll be like, why didn't I tell her no? Why didn't I challenge her when she said that horrible thing, or whatever the situation is? You're coerced into playing your role. So if you're always self-effacing and passive and hyper-agreeable.
These are delicious.
But one could hardly call them traditional.
That is true. They have diverged from tradition a bit.
The twist is far too elaborate. The halak is not fresh, and it seems to be salted.
I did not realize.
You'll be okay inside of her world. If you try to exist as a separate person, the following injunction will be delivered. I am going to punish, shame, humiliate, and threaten and intimidate you for having your own will, from being separate to me, for negating my fantastical version of who I am. You're an actor on set. Follow the script or get out. The typical tools that she will use to attack you, to draw you back into performing as you should, will revolve around guilt-tripping you, making you feel ashamed, reactive abuse, and attacking sometimes your reputation, sometimes your character, but particularly your image of yourself. When dealing with smother mother, you will be subsumed. She doesn't want to know how you feel. She wants to tell you how you feel. She doesn't want to know what you think. She wants to tell you what you think. It's a very invasive and suffocating form of narcissistic abuse. You must learn to abandon all attempts at sincere communication when communicating with the terminally insincere.